Why is it that some men can walk away from a relationship and have women constantly thinking about them, while others pour their heart out only to be forgotten the moment they're gone? The answer isn't what you think it is, and by the end of this video, you'll understand the exact psychology that makes someone impossible to forget. But here's what I need you to understand first. There are 3 specific behaviors that create this effect, and if you only do 1 or 2 of them, the whole thing falls apart. Most guys make a critical mistake with the 3rd one, which I'll reveal later, but first, you need to understand why the traditional advice you've been given is actually pushing women away. You've probably been told that being more available, more caring, more present is the key to keeping someone interested. You text back immediately, you make yourself free whenever she calls, you shower her with attention and affection, and yet, somehow, the more you give, the less she seems to want you. Here's what's really happening, and this connects to something deeper that I'll explain in a moment. When you make yourself completely available, you're not creating attraction, you're creating comfort. And comfort, while nice, doesn't make someone's heart race when they think about you at 2 in the morning. Think about it. The people who occupy your thoughts the most aren't the ones who are always there. They're the ones who leave you wanting more. The conversation that ended too soon, the person who was interesting but just out of reach, the experience that felt incomplete. This is the psychology of desire, and it works on a fundamental level that most people completely misunderstand. We want what we can't have. We value what we have to work for. We miss what's absent more than we appreciate what's present. But here's the first behavior that creates this magnetic effect, and it's probably the opposite of what you're doing right now. The first principle is the power of strategic space. Not physical distance, though that can be part of it, but emotional space. When you're always emotionally available, always ready to solve her problems, always there to fill every silence, you become predictable. And predictability is the enemy of mystery. But here's what most guys get wrong about this. They think strategic space means being cold or playing games. That's not it at all. There's a specific way to create space that actually increases attraction, and it has to do with the second behavior I'm about to explain. Instead of being constantly available, learn to be selectively available. This doesn't mean being distant. It means having your own life, your own interests, your own priorities that don't revolve entirely around her. When she texts you, sometimes respond immediately because you genuinely want to talk. Other times, respond later because you were genuinely doing something else that mattered to you. The key word here is genuine. This isn't about creating fake busyness or pretending to have a life you don't have. It's about actually having a life, having hobbies that excite you, having goals that consume your attention, having friends and experiences and passions that exist independently of any relationship. When you have these things, something interesting happens. You become less needy, not because you're trying to be less needy, but because you actually need less from other people to feel fulfilled. And that shift in your energy is something people can feel immediately. But this leads directly to the second behavior, which is even more powerful than the first. The second principle is the art of ending interactions on a high note. Most people try to stretch good moments as long as possible. They stay on the phone until the conversation dies. They extend dates until the energy fades. They keep texting until one person stops responding. This is a massive mistake, and here's why. There's a specific psychological trigger that happens when you end things at the right moment, but if you don't understand the timing, you'll actually push her away instead of drawing her closer. Instead of stretching interactions, learn to end things while they're still good. When you're having an amazing conversation, be the one to say you have to go. When a date is going perfectly, be the one to suggest it's getting late. When the energy is high, that's when you step back. This isn't manipulation. This is understanding that people remember how something ended more than how it began. When you end on a high note, that positive feeling lingers. She goes home thinking about how good that conversation was, how much fun she had, how she wishes it could have continued. But when you stretch things until they naturally peter out, she goes home feeling drained or bored or like something was missing. Same interaction, completely different emotional residue. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because this connects directly to the third behavior, which is the most powerful one of all. The third element is unpredictability with inconsistency. This sounds contradictory, but it's not. Be consistent in your core values, your integrity, your basic way of treating people. But be unpredictable in your responses, your plans, your emotional expressions. Don't always be the serious guy or always be the funny guy. Don't always suggest dinner dates or always suggest adventure dates. Don't always text long messages or always text short ones. Keep her guessing about what version of you she's going to encounter, while always knowing that it will be a version that respects her and treats her well. This creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that makes gambling addictive. You never know when the reward is coming, so your brain stays engaged, always hoping for the next positive interaction. But here's the crucial part that ties all three behaviors together. And this is what most guys completely miss. The mystery isn't about whether you're interested. The mystery is about who you are as a complete person. What layers she hasn't discovered yet. What dreams you haven't shared. What thoughts you haven't revealed. What experiences you haven't talked about. Most people make the mistake of revealing everything about themselves immediately. They think intimacy means having no secrets, no privacy, no inner world that belongs to them alone. But actually, the most intimate relationships are between two people who remain somewhat mysterious to each other, who continue to discover new things about each other even after years together. This brings us to the most important realization. And without understanding this, everything else I've told you won't work. The goal isn't to make someone miss you so you can control them or manipulate them. The goal is to make someone miss you because you're genuinely worth missing. That means becoming the kind of person who has interesting thoughts, who does interesting things, who brings energy and joy and challenge to other people's lives. It means developing yourself not as a strategy to attract others, but as a way to create a life that you're genuinely excited about living. When you're living that kind of life, people naturally want to be part of it. And when they can't be part of it all the time, they miss it. They miss you, not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're actually hard to get, because your time and attention and energy are valuable, and they feel lucky when they get to experience it. The irony is that the more you focus on making people miss you, the less likely it is to work. But the more you focus on becoming someone worth missing, the more it happens naturally. So stop trying to make her miss you. Start becoming someone she can't help but miss. Someone with depth and passion and mystery. Someone who enhances her life without consuming it. Someone who is present when he's there and fascinating even when he's not. That's not a strategy. That's just being a fully realized human being. And fully realized human beings are always in demand.